Master this strategy first before funding your Forex account. Let's start, guys. Reversals. One of the best ways to trade because you are sniping the exact point of where price changes direction. Meaning if you trade the exact reversal point, you are not only getting insane risk-reward ratios, but you're also making a shit ton of profit on top of it. I found a perfect way to find reversals like this, and like this. Hey, it works for everything. Stocks, Forex, crypto, it doesn't matter, and the even cooler thing, it works on all time frames. That does sound awesome. I'm gonna go over how to perform this strategy, what to look for specifically. And I'm gonna go over some special little tricks to make it perform even better, and I'm gonna even share some back test results for it. Let's not waste any time, let's get straight to it. So this strategy is price action based, and really it only has a couple of steps. Or the first step, we are looking for what's called a liquidity grab. A liquidity grab is simply when price breaks a support or resistance and does a fake out and heads in the opposite direction. We want a liquidity to grab because it adds fuel to the reversal. We are looking for the reason being, think of it like this. If we have a resistance right here and price breaks this resistance like this, a lot of traders will enter a long, right at this point, because they think the price is going to start heading upwards because of this Brit. They'll enter a long here and set their stop losses around this area. Meaning if this is a liquidity to grab and price fix this upwards movement, when price reverses, it's gonna hit all of these traders' stop losses, making the price move downwards even harder. So if we found this liquidity to grab and entered a short, we would benefit from the strong impulsive movement, making us some easy profits. Pretty simple in the statistics. Even back this up, these back test results are from Thomas Bulkowski, a famous trader, and look just how interesting this is. So comparing if the first valley is above the second. So that being a liquidity grab like we just talked about like this, compare that to if the first valley is below the second. So something like this, you can clearly see the liquidity grab version performs way better. So out of the 14,000 trades that he tested, the percentage gain for liquidity grabs performed way better than a pattern that did something like this. So pretty interesting. So now we know why we are looking for a liquidity grab. So that's step 1, is finding a liquidity grab. It can be either sell side liquidity or buy side liquidity, whichever you prefer to trade. Once we find this liquidity grab, we move to step 2, which involves the entry. The entry is pretty simple. You are going to mark your entry point at the candle that made the liquidity grab. For example, here we have a nice little support, price breaks the support with this candle right here. Our entry would be at the candle that made the liquidity grab. So your long entry would be at this point right here because this candle made this liquidity grab. It's the same thing with shorts. You have a resistance, price breaks. This resistance barely does the liquidity grab. Your short entry would be at the bottom of this candle that initiated this liquidity grab. So right here. So going back to our first example, this candle initiated this liquidity degree. So we set our entry point right here. Now what makes the strategy so successful is the risk-reward ratios are absolutely insane because you are finding the exact bottom or top of the move. The profits are going to be really big and the losses are going to be very small. So for this example, you would enter here, set your stop loss right below the liquidity to grab, and you're gonna set your take profit at a recent high. So like this, and just look at this risk to reward ratio. Even if the trade is a loss, it's gonna be a very small loss. In this example, you can see price reversed exactly at this point and hit our huge take profit for a perfect trade. Now I'm gonna show you guys just how successful the strategy is, and then I'm gonna give you guys some tips to improve the strategy even more. Just look how good the strategy performed here. Marks the liquidity grab for us at center. A short trade set her stop loss right above the liquidity to grab and set her take profit at a recent low, and look how this chart fell extremely hard after the signal. Another example, Polish liquidity to grab, we wait for the entry signal. Once we get it, we enter, set our stop loss right below the liquidity to grab, set our take profit at this recent high all the way up here. And then there's this strong impulsive move to the upside, giving us a massive win. And we can really just keep repeating liquidity entry signal, stop loss, take profit at a recent low strong impulsive move, push liquidity entry signal, stop loss, take profit at a recent high strong impulsive move. Now, of course, this strategy isn't absolutely perfect and there are going to be times when it doesn't work. For example, here, the indicator indicated liquidity. So we set or take profit and stop loss like usual, but the chart ended up not going in our favor. Funny enough, right after it hit our stop loss, it skyrocketed classic. But if we take a close look at how small this loss was, so sure we lost this trade. But if we compare it to all of our winners with these huge massive wins, this loss is really just a pebble. That's what makes the strategy so profitable. So as for improving the strategy even more, like I promised before, here's some interesting statistics from the back test results on the daily time frame. Peaks closer together than 10 days saw a slightly larger drop compared to peaks farther apart. So if the liquidity grab and the entry candle were closer than 10 candles apart, the drop was a lot larger compared to the peaks far apart. So the back test results are saying peaks like this had a more impulsive drop than peaks like this. So that's very interesting to note. So if you want optimal entries, you should look for liquidity graphs with peaks closer together. Another way to improve this is by adding confluences like divergences. To do this, simply go to Meditator, click Insert, then Indicators, scroll down to Oscillators and click Momentum. So here you can see the indication gave us a long, but something else to notice is that here the chart did a liquidity grab. So it's making lower lows. But if we look at the momentum oscillator, it's making higher highs. So this is a divergence and it's also a very bullish signal. So we combine both the powers of the divergence and the bullish liquidity grab, and it gives us a higher probability of working in our favor. And just like that, we have an amazing trade. Then my final tip will also make this perform a lot better. So this whole liquidity grab strategy works best if you're finding reversals at the bottoms or tops of big moves. If you're trying to find liquidity grabs in the middle of moves while the chart is going up or down like this, it doesn't work so good. So to find bottoms or tops moves, do this. So here we are on the 15-minute time frame and we get a bicycle. So what we end up doing is we then move to a 1-hour time frame and we see this buy signal happen exactly at a support on a higher time frame. So we know there's a strong demand here on the higher time frame. And on top of that, we have a liquidity grab on a lower time frame, which is a great confluence. We moved back to the 15-minute time frame and do our normal stop loss and take profit. And it was another beautiful trade. So just for a bad example, if we were on the 15-minute time frame and got a signal like this and then moved to the higher time frame like the hour and the signal happened here, we would not enter on this trade because the move is happening in the middle of this range on a higher time frame. And like I said before, this strategy performs the best if it's on the absolute top or bottom of the range. So if you pair all of these together, the normal liquidity grab strategy, the 10-candle rule divergences and higher time frame support and resistance, I'll tell you this strategy performs absolutely amazing. Go try it out. Let me know what you guys think. That's it guys, subscribe and like this video and I will see you in my next video.